And we're live. Welcome, everyone. My name is Niki Lopez of Niki Lopez Creative, and you're watching The Circle, where every Tuesday, 8:30 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm talking to artists, activists, social entrepreneurs, people doing great things in the world today. And today I have a special guest and friend, Emmanuel George. Welcome.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Yes. And so Emmanuel George is a South Broward cultural ambassador, curator, and historian. It has like a list of organizations under your belt that's really just all things culture and community, as you put it.
Definitely.
And so, so we're live right now. We're on Facebook on two places. We're on Niki Lopez Creative. We're live on Outclick Magazine. We're live on YouTube and Periscope. And so we have a couple people coming through. Andrew saying hello. Facebook, anonymous Facebook, see you. Valerie saying hello. So let's just jump right in. So which came first from your endeavors? Because I know, you have the create, you have, what came first? What inspired you onto the journey that led you to where you're at now?
Oh my, well, I definitely want to give a big thanks to the pioneers that came before me. The main two that really made things for me is Dr. Marvin Dunn and Dr. Kitty Oliver. I tend to say they're like my parents in local Black history, and Dr. Kitty Oliver does refer to me as her son in historical spirit. She did sign that in the Race and Change in Hollywood, Florida book that she did, and I had her sign for me. So it was really, that's how it really came for me. I was watching Black Miami in the 20th century on Amazon Instant Watch the other, like a couple years ago. And it really inspired me to really want to know more about Broward's Black history, because I'm here in Black Miami. And I mean, that is where I was born, in Jackson Memorial Hospital, but I was raised in Broward. So I started to really try to look deep into like Broward's Black history. And I went to the African American Research Library, and I went to the special collections, and I was listening to oral interviews from Kitty Oliver. And she was interviewing Rodney Collins and his father, Sterling Collins, who passed away in December 2018. And that's when I started to like research as much history as possible. And I started just going out and speaking to elders in the community. I was just going out, taking my time and just going out there and doing it, just talking to them and asking them all kind of questions. And when I was each elder, you get to like really see the truth, because you talk to 10 of them, you're going to hear a lot of stories that coincide with each other. And that's what basically got me into, that's how it started for me.
Mm-hmm. And why history? Because I know a lot of people have so many different directions they go into. How did history become that thing for you?
History became that for me. I think it was just always in me from a child. Like my father was very deep into history and Black liberation and different things like that in Dominica. His mentor was the head of the UNIA in Dominica, the United Negro Improvement Association, by Marcus Garvey. And so when I was growing up as a kid, my dad was always teaching me about history, like real history, but like about Malcolm X and Marcus Garvey, the Black Panther Party, Stokely Carmichael, Angela Davis, the Haitian Revolution, and different tidbits. And he was teaching me that in a way where he knew that history in public school wasn't really teaching real Black history, but he taught it in a way so that I could answer the questions that the school was teaching me, and I could answer it correctly on how they see it, but I still know the truth. So they'll say something like, well, who discovered America? And they'll be like, well, okay, it obviously wasn't Christopher Columbus, but I know that this is what the answer that they want me to say, and that's what will make me pass this class. So that's how it really came for me. And then Kitty Oliver and Marvin Dunn just made me go into overdrive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And we have a couple of comments and from Facebook. We have a Facebook user. Love this king. He's our future.
Thank you.
Gee, I love your passion for Broward history. So important. I think especially so much of us are not from here. We need to know the history.
Definitely,
Mm-hmm.
definitely, we definitely. I'm sorry for cutting you off. Go
No,
ahead.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, no, I was saying like we definitely know history because I mean, even myself, like I've been living in Broward since 2002, which is most of my life. But I mean, like, I'm first generation. My parents came here from Dominica in I think 1985 or 86. I wasn't born yet, but that's when they came here. So like, I'm not really as rooted in Broward as some of my peers who parents have lived here, grandparents and great grandparents have been living here. So it's definitely like I'm not as rooted as many people may think I am because they say they see I know so much. Like okay, his parents are from, but I'm not. I just have like a real deep history and loving for Broward County, and I tend to look at myself as like Black Broward's adopted child, and and I was taken in, and I just really am thankful and grateful to those who came before me, Kitty Oliver, Marvin Dunn, Hazel Ambrister from Pompano, the Trailblazers of Sistrunk, Sylvia Portier in Deerfield, Rodney Collins in Daney, Garnett Benaby in Liberia, Cynthia Strawn in Carver Ranches, and what's the last name? Hubert Hammer Jackson from Hallandale. Like these are people who have been here for generations and are historians, and they need to get their credit too. And these are people who I look up to and who I will just sit down and just listen to and then apply what they taught me.
And speaking of apply, it gets me to my next question. What are some of the ways that you use that you connect your passion, for history and community to the public? Like, how do you get people engaged? How do you express that?
Great question. I definitely think art is a way to speak to people because you don't want to bore people with history. You don't want to be like you're just in a classroom just lecturing, with a stick in your hand and a chalkboard and just telling people about history. I definitely believe creative ways is how we tend to bring forth to mobilize people, younger people and older people. And one of the ways I've done that has been through a few documentary projects I've done and helped direct. One of them was A Night at the Palms, a Hallandale story. Another one was also that I did for Art Serve, which was called Home, where we talked about the history of the four pillars of South Broward and how gentrification is happening. So we speak on things that's happened in the past, but then we also want to talk about what's happening today so that we can really find solutions. And also, again, going back to like art, which is mobilizing and working with local Black artists in terms of galleries and exhibits. And now it's different because of COVID-19, but like from before that, like I did the Sistrunk affair. I produced that myself, and along with Al Huggins, we produced the Sistrunk affair, which was like a week-long Black Art Week. And my exhibit was an exhibit that was paying homage to Broward's Black history through art. So it was 17 local Black artists from Broward County, in Broward County, and the paintings was that of Esther Rolle, Blanche Ely, Dr. Sistrunk, Cannonball Adderley, even people of today like XXX Tentacion, who passed away 2 years ago, Eddie Jones, who played in the NBA in the 90s. So then we did that. And the following year, which was right before COVID-19 on January 23rd, I did an ode to South Broward, which was an exhibit of art, which was honoring South Broward pioneers. And it was J.A. Ely, it was Addicts High School, it was Cynthia Strawn, it was also the Mizels, because the Mizels get credit for being in Lauderdale, but they're really from Dania Beach. So it was paintings and illustrations paying homage to those who came before us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then we have a couple of comments. We have this history should be included in Broward Public School curriculum.
I agree. I've been saying that for the longest.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have Valerie saying, it's so refreshing to hear any news of our history. But like G said, the Black history of Florida is little known to others outside of the area. Thank you for being the next historian. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So yeah, I do think that is it's kind of a shame that you go to school and you learn world history, you learn like skewed parts of history. You know, we learn about Anne Frank, but then people right in our own backyard we don't know anything about.
That is so true, and I always tend to say that all the time because what I see from the black communities in Broward, from growing up in Broward, it was just when I see the black community, it was always like the trap, it was always the hood, and a lot of people my generation was embracing it for a lot of the wrong things. And when I started to learn more about the history, that's when it's like, okay, like this stuff that we really do need to know. We really do need to know who these names are on these streets, who some of these names are named after. We need to know also the empty fields. One of my favorite quotes that I tend to say is, and every empty field tells a story in a black community. And I always said that to myself. Every empty field tells a story because that empty field used to be a pool room. It used to be a club. It used to be something that was significant there. It just wasn't always empty in these black communities. So like they weren't always looking as it is now. They were very vibrant black communities. And in Broward County, we had several vibrant black communities. We had 8 historic black communities from Deerfield, Pompano, the Sistrunk area, Harlem McBride, which is in Oakland Park, which was another black community that's often forgotten about, that was there in the 30s. You had Daney, which is the first incorporated black community, Liberia, which is in Hollywood. You had Carver Ranches, Hallandale. So you had a lot of historic black communities, and then they were doing pretty good for themselves. They had black business districts. And they had, we had our own schools from Blanche Ely High School, Dillard, Addicts, so we had a lot that was going on, and we were doing very well. And it would be so great and so important if we were to have this in our Broward County public schools to emphasize and make local black history important, and not just for us, but for other people as well who may not look like us, to understand as well as to why the plight that we're in, the conditions that we're in now, and especially with gentrification that's happening.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I know you have a couple of businesses. One of them is Create. How do you explain, how do you share Create with people? What is it about?
Okay, so yeah, there's Create. So the interesting thing with Create, it stands for Cultural Renaissance Establishes a Tactical Evolution, which means through our culture we'll grow as one. Create, you have the Create Collective, which is the website, which is more of like the business, which is like the printing company, which is myself, Richard Dubose, and Blaine Campbell. We have the printing company where we do DTG prints, like this mini Ripperton piece that I have on my shirt right now. And we do sublimation prints, which is like leggings, socks, and different things like that we do. And we started in January. We had some ups and downs, but we are getting through it. And we are just getting through these times, and we're making it happen. And then Create is the like a black artist collective. So there's just several black local artists who are doing prominent things in Broward County, such as like Richard, who I mentioned earlier, JD Raw Talent, Cherish Watson, Casper, Nisi, Afro Picasso, Robin Martin. Shout out to Robin Martin. I went to high school with him since I came here. And so it's just like different people that's doing art locally in Broward. And the goal of Create is to establish a platform for local black artists in Broward County who are oftentimes overlooked, and also creating that cultural destination in Broward County for local black creatives.
Absolutely. That's amazing work. And so we have G saying, congrats on the new business. Let us know how we can support. So
Definitely.
So
Okay, well, I mean, I'm easy to get a hold of. Shout out to G. You can get a hold of me on Facebook, Instagram, the website thecreatecollective.com. And you could just reach out to me, and we can definitely make some things happen. We are an up and coming printing company, and our goal is to eventually just be self-funded so we can continue working for ourselves and be able to supply Broward County and abroad with people with printing needs, as well as to offer printing to teach youth in the community how to print, and also work with BCPS, because Addicts Middle School, they do have a graphic design program, and it'll be phenomenal to work with them in terms of printing, because there's a lot of up and coming graphic designers, and the graphic designers and printing, to me, it goes hand in hand. It's like peanut butter and jelly. So
Absolutely, absolutely. And April, I'm about to say April, August is a Black Business Month.
yes.
So there's been a lot of. Have you seen more interest because with the racial reckoning, with people saying talking about Black Lives Matter and wanting to support? Do you see more support, like with the work that you're doing and some of the initiatives that you're working on?
Yes, definitely. I definitely do see a lot of support from what we're doing, and a lot of people are very mobilized in light of the police brutality, and that was actually one of our highest points. In terms of selling T-shirts, was when after everything was happening in Fort Lauderdale, that was one of our highest points and things that's happening in August, and with it being Black Business Month. It was also pretty good with a lot of interaction on social media, because one of the things that I'm doing is a graphic design showcase, which is for local graphic designers. It's like a tournament style, and the winner, we will be printing their design on a T-shirt. So from that past weekend of Saturday, I think I had maybe like 400 people in total voted throughout that whole day. So
Wow.
it's definitely been an increase.
Hmm.
Want it to be something that just continues on forward in September, October, November, and onward forward. So, like, after COVID-19, when we beat COVID-19, it'll be a whole new beginning for Black people and Black creatives.
Absolutely. I love the graphic design thing that you're doing. It's really good, and to see a lot of upcoming designers, and when we talk about using the arts and visibility as well, that's something that's not always paid attention to. What type of images that we're using to promote our businesses and things like that, and that makes a difference in having everyone be inclusive, as well as promoting the local community. So that's really important.
Is definitely very important.
Mhm. And we have Valerie saying the knowledge, that knowledge will be empowering to the youth to perhaps spark more ideas of entrepreneurship in the community.
It definitely would be. I mean, that's what we need. We do need to mobilize the youth to be creative. I feel as if we're all artists at heart. That's how I feel.
Mhm.
And it'll be definitely needed for the youth to continue to be mobilized so that they don't lose it. A lot of us have to lose that love and that drive because of 9 to 5 capitalism and getting older and paying bills and having children and different things like that. But we need to keep that creative spirit, and just focusing on the youth and creating more lanes and avenues, and as well as teaching them the local Black history, can then mobilize people, us as Black people, so that we can have Black business districts in Broward County again, so that we can have a tax base and we can be able to offshoot a lot of the gentrification that's happening, that's wiping away our communities and wiping away our history.
Absolutely. What are some of the challenges that you might come? Do you have any things that you might have to like really figure out with your business? And I mean, not all of them. All businesses have challenges, but what are some of the challenges, and how do you go about overcoming them?
Oh man, challenges, challenges, challenges. I would definitely say, I think there's definitely, in terms of the arts, challenges is in like definitely more funding for centered just around Black artists in Broward County. And also even though there is funding, shout out to the Broward County Cultural Division, shout out to Grace Cool, and shout out to those making it happen. But then also, just also making things more accessible, because there's about I created an index for that, like, it was like a list of Black artists in Broward that I know, and I ended up getting to like 76 local Black artists,
Hmm.
and from that 76 local Black artists, I could maybe count maybe like 20, 25 who actually had their artwork in a gallery, and who've actually been in a position where they could really monetize their art. A lot of them are just talented artists who know how to draw and collect and just have a whole bunch of artwork in their house. So I definitely think one of the challenges is having that solidified platform, and that's what I'm so passionate about. Because if there's 76 artists that I thought of in my head, I'm sure there's maybe about 130, 140, because that's just what I know.
Mm.
So, there's no telling the lane where things can go. And I think, like that's just like one of the main challenges in terms of art, in terms of business. I mean, is I think the challenge is because is what we're all facing with COVID-19 happening is
Mm.
how do we get through these times. So that's one of the things we've been doing, and yeah, that's like the COVID-19 it's been a pain in all of our butts. So
Absolutely, absolutely. There's a lot of everybody's using that word pivot, reimagine, pivot. But I mean, we get tired of the word, but there's definitely a lot of even with this show. I used to have people in my studio that I had to pivot and get it to do remotely so I could still keep the information coming and connect to people. And you don't got to drive anywhere, you could just click on something and just have this conversation. And I know some people that are online, they're in different states, watching this program and getting the information out. So it's definitely a great tool to be able to have to use the internet and things like that.
for sure, for sure, definitely.
And so, and I did want to mention because you're actually one of the community partners for one of the projects that I'm doing, which is the I Arts projects. So I talked about it a little bit. There's a call for arts. There is a 9-story affordable housing for elders being built by the Housing Authority of Fort Lauderdale. And I'm doing a program where I'm collecting art that's going to be a permanent collection in the building, as well as doing some virtual programming. So Create is one of our community partners. Thank you.
You
To
are.
the call out to get more artists, because like I it's definitely an open call for all, but I'm definitely pushing diversity in the arts and diversity in the artists that is represented, because especially like in Fort Lauderdale, people of color are the majority, so it should be reflected in that. And so it's just the things that you do, that you have to get more people. And I know there's a lot of artists I know, but I know some other artists. So it's just like, okay, who are those people who know other artists, other Black artists, other people that might want to do that. But then you also did we did last week, was it maybe about 2 weeks ago, we did uh I Arts presents the Black Legacy of Broward. So
Yes,
yes, yes, yes. And
yes,
that,
with Derek Davis. Shout
yeah.
out to Derek Davis.
Yeah, Derek Davis. He's a well-known historian. He's been doing it for a number of years. We had Shire Vanta Black, who is an artist. We had Kaula. We had Emmanuel George, and it was a really great conversation. And the thing is, it's really sad that the information's not there, but people want it. Like when we got off that call, it was like 800 people that was on that call with us, on Facebook. So people definitely want that information.
Wow, wow, that's amazing. Shout out to you because what you're doing. I mean, I just wanted just to give a shout out to you, Miss Niki Lopez, because what you're doing is creating that platform, and we need it for us local Black artists and creatives, and like just being that hub of activism, culture, history, and art. And so it's a big kudos to you for doing that. And you're saying 800 people, that's phenomenal. And there might be 8,000, 80,000 next time. So you're definitely going places. Shout out to you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. And I really appreciate collaborating with you and having you on. So, to keep it going, because, I think, especially when you come to history, people gravitate to a lot of things. If you put someone singing and things like that, there's, people are naturally drawn to it. But, sometimes people don't know. They don't know, all that gold that we have and that we come from and that we are and that, our potential is. So I think the work that you're doing is so important, and then you're reaching into another generation to kind of revitalize all these things. So that's amazing. We have Cynthia Hayes watching from South Carolina. Thank you, Cynthia.
Hey, hey, Cynthia.
We also, Valerie, I must say, Nikki, you've pivoted so superbly for this virtual platform, connecting with your guests and audience. Thank you. Thank you. And we have Morgan. Thank you. Morgan was a dancer. She does dance, but she does dance in particular for people who suffer from PTSD. So that's very, she was in the What's Your Elephant exhibition a few years ago, but now she's in California. So just, the global community.
That's
Um,
beautiful.
so also, can you talk a little bit about, I'm trying to think, you have, we did Black Broward. We talk about Create. I'm trying to think what other business we have. The Black Web. Did we talk about the Black Web?
Yeah, I don't think so. But the black web is well, the black web is basically a multitude of things. The web, like the spider web, it's so many things and so many intricacies behind it. And the black web is basically an index that I created for like things cultural, things happening in Broward County that was starting before COVID-19. So like a way for people to know just different tidbits of cultural events, whether it's poetry, like kickball tournaments. That's very big in South Broward. Black-owned restaurants in Broward County. There's different multitude of things happening in Broward County, and that's basically what the Black Web was. It's a Facebook page, and it's also something that I've been working with the Broward County Cultural Division on, and the Black Web. That is a podcast that myself and Blaine Campbell are doing as well.
Awesome, awesome. And I put some of them links. So we're gonna we have, if you see some of the scrolls, we have the Facebook and Instagram and the website going up, but I'm also in the comment section. We have some of the links to some of the pages, so definitely go check them out. Can you talk a little bit about the J.A. Ely Historical Museum and Resource Hub?
Oh, definitely. Shout out to Destination Sistrunk and the Black Heritage Network for partnering with me on this amazing project. So the J.A. Neely Historical Museum and Resource Hub is to be a Black history museum in South Broward that would encompass the 4 historic Black communities in Broward County, which is Daney, Liberia, Hallandale, and Carver Ranches. And it's basically akin to what the Blanche Ely Museum is for North Broward, or what Spady is to Delray, or what Old Dillard is to the Sistrunk community, or what the Lyric Theater is to Overtown, or what the Hampton House is to Liberty City. South Broward, we do not have anything to preserve our local Black history, and we have 4 historical Black communities. We're home to which was once the prestigious Black high school, which was Addicts High School, which is now a middle school. In South Broward, you had the Palms nightclub where James Brown, Sam Cooke, Etta James, Marvin Gaye, Jackie Wilson, so many legendary people were at. Jackie Wilson's song Doggin' Around, which was a big hit, was a song that he created when he was in Hallandale, which was a song he made about a girl that he was very interested in, a woman from Hallandale, and he was trying to talk to her, but she wasn't having it. She had a boyfriend, and he was like, well, I'm Jackie Wilson, like, how you gonna turn me down and everything. And he made a song about it. So you have a lot of history in these Black communities in South Broward, and the museum will be a place to preserve these 4 communities' Black history, to preserve Addicts' Black history, and Professor Ely, who was the husband to Blanche Ely, who was the first Black principal at Dillard, and then went to be the principal at Addicts for 33 years, from 1930 to 1963. And the Resource Hub is also a place where we bring forth community development, which is basically a place where there could be coding classes, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. It'll also be a place where we have pop-up art galleries and different things like that. And then also on top of that, the third and most important thing is that this spot will also be a landmark destination for cultural tourism in Broward County. And it will be the missing piece, I feel, because you have Blanche Ely Museum in Pompano, Ally Cultural Center in Pompano, Old Dillard, African American Research Library. South Broward, we need to be in that mix too. So that's the important piece of the J.A. Ely Historical Museum, and it's something that will be happening, and then it's going to happen. I give thanks to the Broward County Cultural Division, Destination System, and the Black Heritage Network.
Awesome. And how can people, if people want to get involved with that and support that, how do they go about that?
Okay. I would definitely say right now, just reach out to me. If there's a way I could, give you my email. I mean, we have my email. That way, if people are interested, I would definitely want people to help and assist. And it's a long project because it's bringing forth a museum. So it definitely is something that's going to take, it's in the 5 year plan actually. I shouldn't have said that, but a 5 year plan. So yeah, just email me, Emmanuel George@gmail.com. E with two M's. Abdul like Abdul Bar and George like Curious George. Yeah.
Awesome. We have another Facebook user. Thanks, Nikki and Emmanuel. Great interview. Thank you for enjoying it and being here with us. Um,
Thank you.
let's see what else. Because did we miss anything? Uh,
I think we got pretty much the steak and potatoes of this interview.
the potatoes. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is something that you do a lot of history? Do you do anything else outside of that, or what do you do in your downtime?
Oh, great question. I like to play video games. I like to I like to chill. I mean, I'm very chill. I'm very relaxed. Documentaries. I've really like since COVID. I've been working from home, so just like video games. Nintendo Switch. Watching documentaries, movies. I'm very simple. Like it's something like I'm very simple. I'm very low key, and I'm just a very chill person. I'd like to just chill and just kick it with the homies and homegirls, and we just vibe and we just talk and kick it.
Awesome. If you had access to a time machine, where would you go and why? The past or the future?
Oh my! I would want to interesting. I would want to go. Damn, there's so many places I want to go. I want to see some of my like my great grandparents and just see how they looked and how they sounded and like what they were like.
Mhm.
That's where I would go with them. I'd also maybe want to choose to go to Overtown before I-95 ran
Mhm.
through just to see like just to interact with people and just hang out. From all the great stories I heard, or to go to Hallandale, the Palms, and like catch a Sam Cooke performance or a James Brown performance.
Mhm. And we have Michael. Thank you guys for expanding my knowledge of our history and of our neighborhood. Bless up. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So let's see what we got here. So yeah, so we I think we got through everything, history, uh the curation and being the cultural ambassador. What's next for you? Or
What's next for me is just to be to monetize my everything that I'm doing so that I could truly be self-sufficient and the team that I work with, Richard Dubose and Blaine Campbell, for us to all just be wealthy so that we can be able to not just provide for ourselves, but then also create a lane and avenue for other people. So that's next for me, and just to continue to be peaceful and just enjoy vibes, just good vibes.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you for coming on the show. Well, being on the show and sharing with us a lot of information. I really enjoy the work and appreciate the work that you do in the community. Um, and how you do it. And so I definitely wish you a lot of success with all the things that you're doing.
Definitely, and shout out to you again for having me on your platform. You've had several phenomenal guests on the show, and just to have me on there, and it feels like I'm just in great company. And I just want to thank you for continuing that platform for artists and creatives and organizers and just people doing some great things. So I definitely just want to give a shout out to you, and may your show continue to grow and blossom, and you be like Angie Martinez or one of the big women in radio.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, someone was agreeing with the monetize.
Yeah,
May we all move forward abundantly. Absolutely. So, just to recap some of this, the pages that we have, if you're trying to get information on Emmanuel George and many of the many organizations, so we have the Instagram, we have Black Broward, We have Facebook. We have the Black Web. We also have Joseph Al Jerome Ely. We
Algernon.
Ally. Okay.
Algernon. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
We also have the Black Broward Archives, as well as if you want to support by buying a T-shirt or so, figuring out some of the shirts, and we have the Creative Collective. So definitely check that out as well. And also, if you want to get more information on some of the things that I'm doing and what I'm up to, you could definitely go to whatsyourelephant.org. What's Your Elephant is a mission that uses the arts to create safe spaces and talk about anything unspoken. We do that a number of ways. So you definitely go to whatsyourelephant.org. You could get a shirt there and support this type of work moving forward. And so I just want to say thanks again, Emmanuel, for being here. Thank you to our online audience. We have people on YouTube. We have people on Facebook. Those who are live with us, thank you for being here every Tuesday, and thank you for participating, as well as those who's going to watch it on the replay. So any final words from you, Emmanuel?
Just for everyone tuning in, just continue to be as consistent as you can towards your goals. Consistency creates reality, and the more consistent you be, the closer you'll get to what you have to achieve. And I just want to see us all win. I want to see us all prevail.
Absolutely. That's some good words to leave on. So everyone, good night, and I will see you all next Tuesday.
All right. Peace.
Bye.